I do plan to stream the other DLCs as well, and you've actually joined me at a good time. This is the ending of the first DLC that I'm playing out of 4.
Did you retrieve the technologies yet? We need them, as I have indicated. What? You did? Your survival, let alone success, barely registered in my projections. Now, all I need to do is check my transmission databank. MOBIUS is always filling it up with his psychotic calls. Oh yes, there's the schematics, just like you said. How truthful.
Also, if it does help, I have put my stream schedule. If you scroll down a little bit, you should see it all in a picture. I've also got it pinned on Twitter as well, just to keep everyone updated. They are my general times of streaming.
Yes. 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 No. I mean, yes. You just need to analyze these technologies for a moment. They are extremely advanced, you know? I know how these technologies work. Of course I know. If you remember, we described them in clearly abstract, contradictory statements before. Why would we do that if we weren't certain on how to use them? Yes, so let me... a bit, huh? I'll figure it out. Its range is limited, and it would need a booster of some sort of carrier, but...
No worries, this is a lurk-friendly channel, and I always appreciate those lurking.
I have it. The override sequence to open the Forbidden Zone door is hidden in the schematics. Well, not hidden. It's actually right there, behind the programming equivalent of coffee stains. It's embedded in what seems to be recursive code. It's badly commented there and there. Oh, and null pointers very sloppy, Mobius. You see, using the antenna to boost the emitter's sonic frequency and the stealth suit to bypass the Forbidden Zone lock, yes, that could work. Was that my plan? It must have been. Sometimes I truly surprise myself. The door is open, and now Mobius will get his. Biological? Ridiculous. I mean, technically, these items could all be used to put you back together once you had your brain. But for now, they can be used in the name of aggression. The door should be unsealed. Now, instead of being subjected to threats, we can now send an equally threatening message to Mobius. And that message is science. Deliver this message, and Big Mountain shall be freed from Mobius's reign of terror. You can go now. That's your cue.
Rightio. Yeah, Mobius saw what would happen if they all started to put their brains in jars and all that sort of thing. So to protect what's going on in the future, he's had to make himself out to be evil so that the other guys stay where they are and don't cause any more havoc outside of this general area. And I am... Ooh, hello. That isn't really doing any damage at all. Alright. Despite the fact I've got, like, no melee skills at all. What happened was, when I got sent here, I went and had a look at one of those strange radio things. Yeah, well, it is an energy, it's not a solid thing. Alright, so... let's go... Stealth Boy. Now I'm using the stealth boy to sneak past him.
And destroy protocol in the name of all that is MOBIUS.
I know. Whoops. Take all of that. Alrighty, so is this the this is the turret controls. I don't need that. Oh yeah, I've heard Doom Eternal is doing pretty well. It's a really good game. I've been meaning to get around to getting that at some point. Well, I wish you much luck on your endeavor, sir. Sounds rather difficult to try in 100. Gonna be fluffing around with this for a little bit. Yes, I have heard that the music is really nice on it. Ah, finally, there we are. Alrighty, so hopefully that has been shut down.
Is this thing on? This is MOBIUS. Dr. MOBIUS. We're initiating some kind of emergency test shutdown. In 5, 4, as in forbidden, 3, as in tree, 2, as in two protest, 1, as in none. Oh look, the emergency overload is initiating.
I bet no one has ever been as unnoticed as me.
Alright. Oh, we are moving a bit slow. That is fine, because I think we needed to. There we are. Recon suit 2, stealth suit, sorry. There we are, and we should be able to. There we go. What was in this one? Alright, so I want to take... What is it? And then we can repair that. Sweet. I can't wait to do this game again on, using a melee build. Funnily enough, we can deal with this. I'm planning on doing the, what is it? The non-aggressive route this playthrough.
Huh? Yo, hello there. You are there, aren't you? Forgive my confusion. So hard to tell these days. You seem familiar somehow. I'm guessing, you're here for your brain, perhaps? It's just up there. Such a nice brain, young, very bright. Little hard to see you. Can you walk into my left, right FOV cone? Ah, that's it. You're coming into focus nicely. Depth perception is a problem with this old monitor of mine. Went black a while ago. That's old age for you. should look at getting the visual nerves reattached. It's just that the right eye would see the wrong things. The flying tortoises were the worst. Would you care for a mentat? I love mentats. Delicious and smarty. I have all sorts of amazingly science-terrific thoughts and ideas when those chalky tablets are zipping through my biogel. I forget them all not long after, though, especially with the data constipating my memory core. Afraid binary streams might shoot out my chassis. Had to start using the dome floor and walls here to inscribe equations, although I've somewhat lost track of where they start and end. Really? That implies preconceived notions, theories, and a hypothesis about this meeting? Please extrapolate. What was I supposed to be like? After all, it might be worth a cognitive realignment if your theoretical MOBIUS is better than I. Oh, a variety of raisins. You're something of a homily. The anomaly? You're really quite special, and not in the cranially challenged way. You see, you are the most successful brain extraction experiment ever performed here at Big Mountain. A victim of your own success, as it were.
Yeah, so this is the big evil Dr.
What
Mobius.
your brain knows about the procedure, well, your brain could be popped back in and you could walk right out of here. Can't have brains moving around of their own volition. I'm not sure, except that I'm sure there's a very good reason for it. I have very good reasons for almost everything I do. Even if I forget them occasionally. Although I feel this one is especially important. Oh, well. Now, that seems to be rather hormonal of you. Flight or fight response, you know. Hard to cut that out completely. Your brain is here, safe with me. We chat over mentats. Do you? You seem fine without it. And does it even want to go back with you? Maybe you should ask it. It's quite independent, has all manner of opinions. Tell you what, I'll leave it up to your brain. If it wants to go, then fine. If not, well, you should respect its wishes.
Yeah, it is a bit on the creepy side, isn't it?
Oh, curiosity. I experience that less now that I know everything. Oh, maybe it was when I found out some unpleasant answers. The ghosts aren't real? That changes everything. Why, I can save my computing power for other perceptual impossibilities. Please be my guest. The receptor is there, and the side-switching wobbly bob, just turn that. Good, good, better. Oh, yes, that feels wonderful. This is even better than my afternoon mentats break. Well, every scientist needs an army. Mine came to me after these rather large scorpions kept coming in from the desert, like poisonous frosting. How scary, I thought, but they had survived when nothing else had. Perfect candidates for improvement as a reward for their tenacity. Then I thought, what if they shot energy bolts and acted as walking eyes and data-drained computers and acted as bullhorns? Then I made them bigger. Then I thought about custard. I do so love custard. Or was it mustard? Mustard custard. I miss sugars and salts.
This is Dr. Mobius. He is...
I find things
He's,
curious as well. Go on.
supposed to be the big evil boss. Ah, this is the explanation.
I was probably tripping hard on Psycho when I sent that. Had to work myself up to it. Not usually violent, except when I am. Then, watch out! So many chems, such varieties. Whenever I take Mentats, I can feel my entire chassis breathe like a big spherical lung. As for the Psycho, sometimes get the chem dispositories in my tank all switched up. Go in the wrong tube. Still, served its purpose. Did I? Maybe I did. Can't have them leaving. Some reason for it. Ethics or, conscience? You and your brain are quite alike. I'm sure it knows the raisins better than I do. Dr. Mobius. Rather catchy, isn't it? It's my name, and my new name overwrote the old one. This name's as real as you or I, although I believe your brain expressed similar incredulity at the nature of such an appellation. Someone's been watching too many old-world science fiction movies, it said. I believe it meant me. I must admit I have a vulnerability for holotape fantasies of planets and robots and all that is forbidden. As for the name I was born with, like the think tank, we were all reprogrammed to forget them, take on new names. It enforces the recursion loop in our perception programming. Now, trap is a rather harsh word, like excrement. Not an inappropriate word, but still rather harsh. But, yes, I did take some liberties with their programming. It's all right, they don't remember. I certainly didn't until you said trap, and then I said excrement, and then... The radar fence to keep the think tank hemmed in wasn't really enough. They keep testing things. They would have found a way to disarm it. I suspect I have Plan C's in place, but I may have coded myself to forget them, just in case. Probably very dangerous, lethal, or worse. So I had to do something else to keep them occupied here. Or as you like to say, trapped. I prefer to have several Plan Bs in case the A's fail. Oh, you figured it out. No pun intended. Dr. O, which is actually not his real name multiplied, since you can't multiply his real name in the first place. Ouroboros, Klein, they have all forgotten themselves. And not only themselves, but the world, sense of time and history. All that is left is what's here. I reprogrammed their chronometers, geometers, and cartography programs. This is now their world, here, Big Mountain. It was a merciful lobotomy, really, thinking back. They were my friends, but sometimes they would take things too far. And the world isn't ready for that kind of too-far thing-taking. That's my professional opinion, anyway. And I am told I was once quite professional. Really? It is so unlike me to make an error in anything I do.
You may want to get a few things looked at then.
Well, it's simple. Despite their many failings, they are rather bright. They are the think tank for a reason. That I didn't change. Without something to distract them, make them afraid, they would simply deduce what had happened. And when they start deucing it up, then you came along, the final variable solved. They saw that their world was larger than they perceived. Bacteria, finally able to see its host.
Yeah, I thought doing or sorting out this problem, not just going up and killing him, and doing things, I suppose, skill check wise, for lack of a better word, would be a little bit more interesting.
There have been other visitors to make them doubt their perceptions, but you are the one who dialed back their monitor micro-magnifiers. You were irrefutable proof that there was a world outside. And then there was the whole brain fiasco, which forced me to take steps. See, your brain had a special kind of wrinkle, a uniquity that they had never thought to try in all their countless escape attempts. Yes, very good. I should have mentats ingest you instead of the other way around. Mentats. In any event, you showed up at the think tank, and because you had suffered a cranial injury in just the right place, bullets in the head are usually much more fatal, and yours was a light case of bullet headitis. But it was enough for the autodock in the sink to change its programming to fix the problem, and the brain extraction technology for once worked. That gave the think tank the knowledge its brains couldn't possess. With that knowledge, the procedure can be reversed. If they obtain that procedural data, they can use it to mush and modify their cranial selves into hosts to slip past the radar fence. I'm sure of it. And once they're off the reservation... Oh no, I doubt your brain would be so unreasonable. It already knows the trick of it, you see. Doesn't need to be in a host body at all. If you become friends or exist in an uneasy truce with weapons aimed at each other, it would unlock the fence for you. Well, once the think tank was dealt with, of course, your brain is a responsible sort. Doesn't want mad scientists running around everywhere. I consider coincidence to be profanity, along with the words astrology, herbal tea, and luck. So watch it, potty mouth. My threat broadcast is designed to instill and install fear. And along with the emotional download, other data rides the fear carrier wave. It prompted them to focus on retrieving those technologies and bring them to attack me. And coincidentally, pardon my language, all those technologies are needed to put a brain, your brain, back into its skull properly. The X2 antenna can be used to focus your alpha wave frequency thought patterns. The sneaky suit? Why, it houses a cardiac regulator. And the sonic sound wave projecto emitter was never intended as a weapon. It was a medicinal vertebrae pulse desensitizer. In short, brains, a heart, and courage. Spine. I think there was a story once where a band of murderous thugs sought these things. They had them all the time in the story. Didn't stop them from murdering to get them. And it won't stop the think tank either.
I think what he's referring to is the Wizard of Oz.
Yes, my overly aggressive cammed-up broadcast was designed to keep reinforcing the forget, fear, rinse, and repeat program. Oh, and the get me the things to castrate your only possible escape attempt. But I couldn't delete you or your arrival any more than I could the other visitors. Only so much science can do when you started talking to them. You're really quite difficult to ignore, you know. It's because you're, well, rather intriguing, if you'll forgive an old brain for saying so. Oh, that means my plan is a total failure. That is unfortunate. Oh well, at least I tried.
Now, is there anything else I can ask him?
Yes, this is getting interesting. You are just filled with these little slices of curiosity, aren't you? Indeed. The goodbye part of our little chat, then. Goodbye. Please mind the equations on the floor.
Oh yeah, I forgot I leveled up here. I don't really think there's any much in the way of... Yeah. Let's just go with that. Wait. A laser commander. Anyway. No equations on the floor. Alright.
Well, well, look who finally dragged themselves in out of the wasteland. And where have we been, Crawling through pits of radioactive muck again? Ah, lovely. Figured that out, have we? Would you like a cookie?
Actually, I would very much like a cookie.
Yes, well, believe me, the opposite is equally true. Good Lord, have you bathed at all since they pulled me out of you? Well, I see sarcasm hasn't eluded you. Fine, perhaps now isn't the best time, but it's the principle of the thing. Well, that's a fine how do you do. Me, quote, dick, unquote, as if I'm the one responsible for the way you carry on gadding about the wastes. I'm not the one that makes us clamber around Technus-infested ancient vaults or go charging off to New Vegas on missions of ill-conceived revenge. And have we forgotten who got us shot in the head and buried in a shallow grave? Do you think I enjoyed that little moment? I most certainly am not. I'm the seat of all reason and logic in our little partnership. All those feelings that motivate you, that sense of righteousness and that rush you get when you help someone, do you know where those come from? Glands. They come from glands. Free of the tyranny of your ape-like and primitive endocrine system, I can see how foolish your motives are. Well, look, it's all a very complex system of biofeedback and other things I wouldn't expect you to understand. Oh, all right. Perhaps I am, but at least I'm logical about it. After the think tank extracted me from your skull, they fell to bickering amongst themselves. I'm sad to say we were quite forgotten about. Dr. MOBIUS saw an opportunity to gain some leverage and had me spirited away to his dome. I don't know. I'm afraid the trauma of our separation rendered me quite insensate. I didn't come around until I was safely ensconced in this tank. I'm quite sure whatever he did was highly scientific, though. Hardly. Dr. Mobius keeps a close optical sensor on the goings-on at the think tank. As soon as he saw the opportunity, he took it. Well, as long as your curiosity is satisfied. I'm not going to lie to you. The prospect is definitely not that appealing. Look at it from my perspective. Here I have peace, quiet, and safety. Well, barring the odd rogue scorpion. In your head, I've got poison, radiation, grisly injuries, and biological functions. Do you know how much more you can get done when you're not constantly looking for places to urinate? It's quite a lot, I can tell you. Overrated biological feedback. Believe me, you only feel that way because you've got all that meat oozing hormones. I suppose you're right. That does call certain assumptions into question, doesn't it?
Well, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Indeed. Quite the conundrum. How do you suppose we resolve it? You mean I'll stay in my tank and you'll stay in your skin? And we'll each handle our own areas of expertise? I certainly like the sound of that. It's not that I didn't like being in your head, you understand. As far as heads go, it was a rather nice one. Well then, I suppose this is goodbye for now. What will you do? And you believe them? Really? I know you were recently deprived of my fabulous advice, but... Really? Once I'm delivered into their clutches, they'll find a way past the radar fence and the whole Mojave will be their playground. And that is assuming, of course, that one of them doesn't take a fancy to our body and decide to slip his own brain into it instead. Well, I suppose I do miss those endorphin rushes when we save the day. All right, what's the plan? Right. Look out, think tank. This brain is coming out of its jar. I suppose now that we're reunited, you'll want to fill your torso up with those other meaty parts the think tank took from us. Personally, I think your upgrades are quite a bit better. But now that I'm with you, the Sync's autodock can plug them back in no problem. Right then, off we go. Clyde will be in for a nasty shock when he realizes the pacification field won't work on a mind and body reunited.
And then he gets flushed away back to the think tank. Yes. And now that scorpion should not really be much of a problem now. Did I say spider? I meant scorpion. Hello. Hello, you. It is actually nice to be able to have a good look at him. Now that he's not trying to kill me. Ooh, what's inside your claw? Mechanical whatnots, that's what. And the leg is hollow. Alright, it should probably get back to sorting out that problem. I said scorpion? It is kind of cute, isn't it? Drone control terminal. No need. Yeah, so the other way you can do it is that you can just end up killing him and you can just take your brain. Or flush it back in, however. So for whatever reason, I don't think this likes it when you try to fast travel to it. So we will fast travel close to it and then get ourselves out. And yup. There we are. Think tank. Won't even need a gun for this.
The lobotomite returns. Our lobotomite. Has Dr. MOBIUS been denominated into scrap metal and voice module parts, as we hoped? I recommend watching your tone with me, lobotomite. Now, your brain. Hand it over, or we'll extract it again. And what could we possibly have to speak about? You have the brain, we have the technology. All you must do is surrender. With it, we can finally leave this place. I cannot tell you how boring this place gets, chopping up the landscape and everything in it. And we have so many questions to ask your brain first. About this Mojave place. A fertile testing ground for our experiments. That is the most insane thing I've ever heard. There's no way Mobius would condescend to step inside you. Besides, there's no way such a thing could be accomplished. It's impossible. You speak the truth, and the decibel variation in your voice, it is Mobius. How dare you breach the think tank? And what do you want here? That's no deal at all. There's a whole world beyond the crater, filled with ideas and possibilities. We could have escaped, seen it all for ourselves, tested it, prodded at it, made it squirm. Partner with you? My foe? My rival? My foremost critic? I have a strange sensation that I would like that. How odd. Very well, partner. The think tank is at your service as long as you do not destroy us.
There we are.
As it had been in the years before the Great War, Big Mountain, the Big Empty, became home to one of the brightest minds of the 23rd century. The courier watched over the Big Empty for years to come, caring for it and keeping its discoveries safe until they were needed to help others. Which had always been Big Mountain's purpose. Past the laboratories and science, it had always been intended as a place to build the future of all mankind.
The courier had scoured much of the Big Empty, although secrets still remained in the crater's depths. Perhaps that was for the best, however. Curiosity, while sometimes rewarded for its efforts, often proves to be equally dangerous.
Dr. Mobius continued his research undisturbed in the Forbidden Zone. As much as he had attempted to create better scorpions, he tried the same with humanity, with considerably less success. These failures didn't bother him overmuch. Once the rush of mentats wore off, he forgot he had failed in any event. After all, the bright young mind who had come to visit him in the Forbidden Zone had already exceeded his expectations.
The sink atop the dome bustled with the voices of a small town, constantly chirping, arguing, and snarling at each other. Still, This all happened productively in the interests of its new owner. The Sync Central Intelligence Unit discovered, despite its inversion code, it was comforted by the sense of community the other personalities gave it.
The Biological Research Station, obsessed with seeding everything in sight, requested a transfer to the X-22 Botanical Garden, so that it might, in its own words, sensually fertilize the garden's smooth contours. The garden sent back a polite refusal, saying it had prior commitments with a vault it had helped infect before the war.
The book chute continued to devour all seditious materials until it nearly choked on a paperclip. It adamantly maintained it was a Chinese paperclip, and the whole thing had been an elaborately orchestrated assassination attempt. Whatever the reason, it slowed down for a while, carefully appraising each document and clipboard that came to it.
The light switches continued to bicker and flicker.
This persisted until the day someone dropped a flashlight in the sink, and the two of them united in their hatred of the showboat.
The sink continued to ruthlessly scrub any particulate matter that came near it. Eventually, it gained access to the magneto-hydraulics plant and nearly flooded all the big empty in an attempt to scrub the crater clean.
The toaster continued its psychotic spree, reducing all appliances in range to scrap electronics and spare parts. After one of its more psychotic episodes, however, the other Sync personalities decided enough was enough and dumped the toaster in a bathtub. Sparking and hissing, the toaster swore its enemies would rue the day when they had bread and no way to toast it.
Muggy did his best to collect coffee cups, although in his quest, he accidentally trapped himself in Higgs Village. It might have been the end for poor Muggy. Except he found it peaceful there, tidying up the kitchens of the think tank professors back when they had been flesh and bone. Well, except for Dr. O, who was an asshole for having created Muggy in the first place. Muggy left O's house deliberately dirty, punishing the dishes and cups that lived there in blind revenge for serving Dr. O.
Blind old Jefferson, with sounds the courier brought him, created a symphonic counter-frequency that saved Big Mountain from sonic invasion in 2910. If you didn't hear about it, good. It was rumored by the other personalities that he had a brief fling with the light switches. Although he forgot their names once too often and was soon left in the dark as punishment.
Damn.
Autodoc, always gentle and methodical, kept sewing up the courier in all the right places when the skin split open from repeated wear and tear. The Autodoc was just glad to have purpose again. It heard its simpler brothers and sisters who got shipped to the Sierra Madre were bored out of their skulls in that toxic dead city. In time, the Autodoc found a way to deactivate the Y-17 trauma harnesses, releasing the corpses they had held prisoner for almost 200 years.
As the courier ran through the X-8 facility multiple times, the computers analyzed the test subject's movements. Rather than performing a superficial observation, they realized the subject barely knew what communism was, or even what a high school was. This confused them for a time, until the facility finally realized that its research had succeeded. So it let its cyber dogs out into the wastes to help protect small communities from physical aggression rather than communist propaganda.
The infiltration program in X-13 felt spent, having repeatedly upgraded the stealth suit until it could upgrade it no more. It felt warm, fulfilled, and a bit sluggish. It realized not long after the stealth suit had left it without so much as a note on the nightstand. So the infiltration program sent out robo-brains into the wastes, looking for its wayward technology. It eventually found Repcon HQ and set up a new research center, testing and murdering fiends who kept breaking into the facility.
The courier, organs intact, continued onwards, a little less heavy of step, but with all the organs in the right places, as they should be. After all, brains can develop a life of their own when left to their own thoughts, and the courier's brain was more clever than most.
Dr. Klein and the think tank remained alive, unaware of the world outside. They looped through their daily routine, none the wiser about the world beyond, although perhaps wiser was the wrong word. The world outside belonged to the courier, and if anyone would shape it, well, the courier had already called dibs.
There is an expression in the wasteland, old world blues.
It refers to those so obsessed with the past they can't see the present, much less the future, for what it is.
They stare into the what was, eyes like pilot lights, guttering and spent, as the realities of their world continue on around them.
Science is a long, steady progression into the future. What may seem a sudden event often isn't felt for years, even centuries, to come.
In the times following the Second Battle of Hoover Dam, however, Old World Blues took on a new meaning.
Where once it was viewed as a form of sadness, nostalgia, it became an expression describing the potential for the future.
It can be easy to see science as evil, technology unchecked as the source of all ills, all misfortunes.
With the courier at the helm, science became a beacon for the future. There was old world blues, and new world hope. And hope ruled the day at Big Mountain.
We could say more, but the stories in the Big Empty speak for themselves. Now armed with the transportal Ponder, the courier could return to the dome at any time and crack open the secrets of the Big Empty one by one. The sink sat vigilant, waiting for its master to return, shoes covered in Mojave dust. Only one road yet remained, and it was one the courier had to walk alone.
Alrighty. Okay, it's spine.
I trust matters regarding your brain were resolved to your satisfaction. And rightly so, I should think. All right, then. Let me...
What does this do? Oh, that's always good. Using less resources is always a good thing.
I could see clear to giving you a once-over. And rightly so.
Excellent. Excellent. Alright. So now, what I want to do...
Might I be safe in the assumption that matters with the think tank have been satisfactorily concluded vis-à-vis your residence in this domain? Very good, sir.
Ooh, that took quite a bit of caps to repair everything. But I needed to, seeing as how I didn't have any replacement parts for some of them. So,
Who's ready for a party?
now I need to store a lot of this away. Tri-beam laser will be fine. I'll need more microfusion cells. Ah yes, I put everything else in other areas. Lunchbox. Where is my plasma defender? Where is my plasma defender? Plasma pistol. I've got a laser pistol right here. Alright. Did I put it? Probably somewhere else. There we are, plasma defender. Now, items. Alrighty. Put that plasma defender back. I've got my laser pistol. Right, time to get microfusion cells. Then we'll be off starting another adventure. Alrighty. Huh. Nothing I can do. That's alright, can I? Here we go, efficient recycling. I love the efficient recycling perk. Alright. I'm now restocked. And then off we are, back home. Sweet. Get myself up here.
You looking for trouble, bud? I got plenty to spare, so watch your ass around me. Hey, hey, hey! Fuck you! I didn't say nothing about using Psycho! God damn it! I didn't say nothing about using Psycho. But, just talking hypno-theoretically here. Got any suggestions? Why'd you bring...
Because you'll be another body to be shot at.
Howdy, friend. Heard me? Wait a minute, I recognize... You sure you want to be here? McLafferty's non-competes are pretty rigid. Just like that. I bet you are. But you ain't going nowhere loaded down like a pack.
75 pounds? Right.
Are you here to jar at me? Wait a minute. You
Alrighty.
The paths we're following are slow going, so you might as well keep your ears open and listen to what old Jed has to say. A few decades back, folks in the NCR started to hear about a community in northern Utah called New Canaan. Didn't know much about them, except that they were religious folks, sent out missionaries to talk to the tribes. We've seen our share of cults, but the New Canaanites, they were honest traders. Good fighters, too. Raiders wouldn't tangle with them. But then, the Legion appeared in Arizona. I reckon you know all about them. Turns out Caesar's first war chief, the Malpace Legate, was a New Canaanite, Joshua Graham. Legend goes that Graham was the meanest, toughest son of a bitch in the whole damn Legion. The New Canaanites wouldn't talk about him. They were ashamed. Guess I can't blame them. Well, at Hoover Dam, the Malpace Legate finally met his match. Hanlon and Oliver kicked his New Canaanite butt right back over the river. Caesar had to make an example for the others, to show them that even at the highest level, failure wouldn't be tolerated. He had Graham covered in pitch, lit on fire, and thrown into the Grand Canyon. People say he didn't even scream on the way down. Not long after, some of the slaves and tribals started to talk. Said Graham wasn't dead. Shouldn't have been any surprise. All this talk bothered Caesar, so he forbade anyone from speaking his name. Wanted to erase Joshua Graham from history. He got his wish. Joshua Graham disappeared, and in his place came legends of the burned man walking the wastes. Probably just a tribal ghost story. But New Canaan's been silent for a long time. Maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe the Malpace Legate is dead. Or maybe Joshua Graham did crawl out of that canyon and finally found his way back home.
Alrighty.
All right, people. Been a long couple of weeks, but here we are. Zion. I know your feet hurt. I know you're tired. But I need everyone's mind on the trail ahead.
Ain't the trail ahead worries me, Jed. Those descents we
No
made
worries,
through that
you have
side
a
canyon
good
back up
disease, sir.
there. Ain't no way we're getting back out the way
And
we
I wish
come.
you
And then
a
what?
very good disease, actually. Thank you very much for showing
I
up.
heard you the first time, and the 15th too. The New Canaanites will know a way, and if they don't, we've got the maps on our friend's Pip-Boy over there. Enough lollygagging. Get moving, and keep an eye out for tribals.
Sorry to bother you with reality, old
Don't
Jed.
worry, I'll be finishing up this this stream soon. I'm just gonna make it back to the main tribal area, and then we should be fine from there. I'll actually end it once we get back to the main area.
God damn it, ambush! Cover people! Watch yourself!
I don't deserve this.
Yes, you do.
I don't even work. Why the fuck you hire me?
Might as well. I'll be waving at him.
Damn it.
Might as well be waving at him. Enough of this. We're sitting ducks here. Here I come. I was a sheriff once, God.
No. Don't you die on me.
There we go. I might need to grab some of these equipment. Well, that was easy. Oh, an anti-material rifle, eh? Alrighty.
Hoy, white legs don't leave survivors often. You're some kind of lucky, let me tell you. You came from outside, didn't you? From the civilized lands. Wow. Joshua will want to hear about this. Joshua Graham. He leads our tribe. Thanks to him, the dead horses are strong and safe from our enemies. He'll want to talk to anyone coming up from Southways. Guess that means just you now. Come, I can take you to him. Good sists. We head east then. Joshua is at our tribe's camp in the Eastern Virgin.
Okay, sweet. Alright, so did you have anything good on you? Eh. I suppose the weapons then are like are pretty nice.
See that log over there? Take a closer look. There might be some good stuff tucked in there.
Eh. Alrighty, so...
We follow this path for a while. Nice view of the river. Eh. Freeze. Don't move them. Why?
That was simple enough. Hello, Hoots. I'm doing very well, thank you. What about yourself? I hope you have been having a good cycle. Now, I should be able to go up this way. Is it this? Oops. The spine. Got it. I'm just having a nice chill game of Fallout New Vegas. I just started the Lonely Trails? No, the Caravan DLC. And I'll be finishing up today's stream pretty soon. Just gonna make it to the main, I suppose, base, for lack of a better word. Then everything should be able to finish up quite nicely.
Follow the old road south. Nearly there.
Hello, Zelius. How are you? I hope you are having a very good cycle. And I hope everyone here has had the good seas.
You see the dead sentries? Shamans say our enemies' souls are trapped in them. But Joshua says it shows we're serious about fighting whitelegs.
Yeah, hold on. There we go. You were lurking? Yeah, that's alright. This is a lurk-friendly stream, so don't feel compelled to interact if you don't want to.
See those handprints? Dead horses and sorrows mark them on taboo places. Places from...
And thank you very much for having me in the background.
For you, I don't buy into that stuff. Hang on. You're going the wrong way.
I am? Oh, I need to go through there. Right, okay. Got it, got it. I need to go through this way.
Down this path to the north. Hope you don't mind getting wet.
Alrighty.
These paintings show the dead horses' victories against other tribes. Lots more of them since Joshua came to us. Nearly there now. Watch out for traps in the water. Got to keep the white legs out somehow, eh?
Alright, so... fish. Should be able to go... Shouldn't be too far away now. There we are.
Joshua's just ahead there, in the Angel Cave.
Alright.
What can I tell you?
Hoi, Auslander. You know our tongue. Smart, Auslander. Joshua in high place of cave. You show respect, Utman. Joshua is greatest warrior. You show him no respect. He show you thunder and fire. You wise for Auslander.
Alrighty. So, I'm going to save it here. It has been 2 hours. I like to try and keep to that time. I don't know. What do you guys think about me doing this sort of time slot? I've been thinking about maybe going and pushing it to 1 PM and then going until 3, but I don't know. Exit game. Alright. No, frozen something. I wish you all the good Z's and all the plushy hugs you could ever need once again. Until next time, you guys have a good one. Cheers!